business of actually trying to govern here. And so I think one of the key things, particularly from the White House's standpoint, in order to try to get anything done in a lame duck, it's important for the White House to give the congressional Republicans, the leadership in particular, some room. Give them some space. Don't come out of the box, saying I won the election, although both sides can claim to having a mandate. Get past that. Let both sides kind of claim a little bit of victory, but then get on to the business of actually making the tough decisions, or starting to make the tough decisions that are going to have to be made. So, but the important thing is don't crowd the Republicans on Capitol Hill. 2, President Obama is going to have to do a lot of, and probably already has done a lot of soul searching about what his legacy is going to be. He has 2 choices as I see it. 1, he can decide that his legacy is retaking control of the House and leaving to his successor control of Congress, in which case that sort of dictates a scorched earth strategy for the next 2 years. Or he could try to rise above that and try to work with congressional leaders and set in motion a process by which they can really tackle a lot of these fiscal cliff kind of issues. And then that gets us to the 3rd point, lame duck sessions. When I was working on the Hill, I was in a lot of leadership positions and things like that where everybody had very ambitious goals for what they wanted to accomplish in a lame duck. And then all of a sudden, you look at a calendar, and then you realize that's a very sobering experience because, this year, there's maybe 50 calendar days in the session, or between now and the end of the year, and there's 16 or 17 actual legislative days. So while everybody's talking a big game about what they want to try to do in a lame duck, the very practical fact of the matter is there's just not a lot of time to do anything. So when they get around to that realization, that will lead you into, okay, so what are they actually going to do in a lame duck? And I listened to some of the panel discussions before, and I tend to agree. What you're going to hear a lot about, particularly from the Republicans on the Hill, and I think the White House, is they want to build a bridge to the next Congress, which that's a good thing. It's a lot harder to do than it actually is, or harder to do than to accomplish. But at least what they want to try to do is punt on a lot of these issues and then set up a process early next year where they can really kind of get down to, okay, so what are we going to do about the Bush tax cuts, entitlement reform, and things like that. If they, in the next 6 weeks, can get themselves to a common agreement where they actually do construct a bridge to the next Congress, I think, personally, that will be a very productive lame duck session. And then finally, the other thing to kind of keep an eye out for is what's going to happen at various